All right, guys, we are on to our next panel, which is the gaming panel. We had it last year also, and we thought it'd be great to show the evolution and the new great developers actually working on some cool games, India centric games coming out of India for the Indian audience. And I'll let Ishan introduce to our panelists here.
Hi, welcome Kabir, Nikhil. A very warm welcome to 24 Hours of Chaos and on this gaming panel, specifically made by Indians for the Indians. It's a very proud panel for us. And let me very quickly introduce Kabir. Kabir is a VR developer. He has around 7 years of experience. He started his own virtual reality and office studio called Studio Create. Started as an Arc with Studio, Kabir leveraged his experience and knowledge of real-time technologies to diversify the portfolio of projects to involve other interactive experiences for design festivals, heritage events, and now video games, specifically the one we'll be talking about, which involves cricket, one of the biggest religion in India.
Absolutely.
Nikhil Malankar is the founder and CEO of Game Studios, a game development and publishing company based in Mumbai, India. He is also a YouTube celebrity with over 87,000 subscribers, wherein he talks about his game development and his current game, which is taking a lot of steam on the internet called Mumbai Gullies. Now, Mumbai Gullies is like sort of an open world game based in the Mumbai city. From the teaser, we are very pumped. It looks like it's based on the underworld of India, where this guy rises to the fame and he becomes some big deal, and then maybe he runs into a lot of shit in his life. We are expecting that. So let's not waste any more time and get into this really interesting game, Mumbai Gullies. Hello, Nikhil. Welcome.
Hi, Ishan. Thanks a lot for a wonderful introduction. I don't think I'm any of a celebrity as of now, but then still it's good to have a YouTube community built up that is extremely excited about the games that we are building. And with regards to the teaser, as you have seen, we are trying to match and create a global experience. So although the game is being built in India, it is to give an experience that, hey, look at this city. This is also regarded as the city of dreams. A lot of people immigrate from different parts of the city and come to Mumbai to make a name for themselves and make a livelihood over here. A lot of people taste success, and this is also the city of Bollywood, which is the movie industry of India, which is also a very big industry over here. So the idea is to actually create this experience wherein a player can explore the city of Mumbai, explore the lanes of Mumbai, and then how life is over here, how fast-paced it is, and to also sort of showcase the contrast with regards to Mumbai Gully specifically. We are basing it on 3 different eras wherein you can actually see how this city evolved and life evolved over here. And as you rightly mentioned, the story is actually a narrative of a character who starts from the bottom and reaches the top. So it's going to be an interesting experience. I would take this moment to actually again showcase the teaser of the game. So I'll just share my screen right away, and we'll take a look at this 38-second clip that we've created. So yeah, let's begin.
मुंबई एक शहर जो कभी नहीं सोता, जो खेलता है जीतने के लिए। तो तैयार हो जाइए, क्योंकि ये है मुंबई गलीज।
So
that looks brilliant. It does feel like Mumbai, I mean, just by looking at it, I have 2 very quick questions, because I realize that you are not like a super big studio. You wear a lot of hats yourself as a developer. So first question is, what all hats do you wear? What all do you do in this game? Second is, we have seen Mumbai in some games created by AAA studios. Like we saw Mumbai in Hitman. We saw Mumbai, not Mumbai specifically, South India in Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. They were done well, but this feels a lot more authentic. So what all things are you actually doing so that you're giving the flavor of Mumbai in its most pristine, authentic form?
I mean, apart from you being a Mumbaiker.
Yeah.
Obviously that's the biggest edge that we have, because no matter how hard these AAA studios may try, there's always some bit of authenticity that might be left out. When you look at Hitman's Mumbai level, uh, on the exterior, it looks like Mumbai city. They've got majority of the things right, but there are still some things which are missing. For example, you cannot go ahead and eat a vada pav in that level. You cannot
You
go
can
ahead.
in Mumbai Gullies?
Yeah, you can.
Wow.
And then
That's the biggest feature I've been wearing all my life in any video game.
yeah,
This is
and then
beautiful.
there are these small things that you can actually do around in the city. I don't want to give out a lot of gameplay mechanics, but in the very first level, when you start this game, you will be actually placed in an environment, and you'll be required to do one thing that a lot of people have done in our childhood, or wrongfully so, might not have done in their childhood, but they know that this is something that happens around. So I don't want to give that out, because that's like the masala and all that we've planned for the game. Apart from that, during the 90s era, this is one detail that I can openly share, is that during the 90s era, there were movie posters stacked on top of each other. And
Yeah.
whenever a new movie used to get released, at that time, the marketing technique at that time was posters. Nowadays, you've definitely got your digital media, social presence and all. But back in the day, when Facebook was not a thing, when people used to actually rely on television for getting their advertisements, or just your random streets. So this is a detail that we are planning to put inside the game, is that whenever there is like a movie going on inside the game, there will actually be posters of that particular movie scattered throughout the city. And as I mentioned, they'll be stacked on top of each other. So like this, there are multiple different details. And the names of the characters are also something very exciting. So they will be very much that of your Bollywood movies, and what you actually observe around the city. So what we are staying true is three pillars, what we are calling of Mumbai Gullies. The first pillar is Bollywoodization, because obviously Mumbai and Bollywood, these go hand in hand. You cannot separate one from the other.
Sure.
The second pillar that we are focusing on is the storyline of the game, the rags to riches storyline. So this is also a very original story that we're working with a Bollywood writer. The third pillar is the exploration aspect, because obviously there's so much to explore. Mumbai in totality is around 600 square kilometers. What we are trying to attempt is around 400 square kilometers of area, and we will be taking creative liberties. So we are not creating like a walkthrough of the city. We are creating an authentic experience of the city, wherein we will be putting in monumental places, like you'll be able to go around Gateway of India, and drive around marine lines and all. But the road wise accuracy, the street level accuracy will not be there. So these are a couple of things that we are trying to do, that I think will bring much more value than our Western counterparts.
Are you taking any scans of the city while you are doing the asset build, or you're doing it by photo references?
Currently, because of photo references, because it's not really possible for the artist to go around due to the restrictions currently. But
Sure.
yeah, we are relying on a lot of photo references and Google Maps over top view.
Great, great. And my last question was about how many hats do you wear in this particular project?
For me, I mean, right now, since I've transitioned into a role wherein my major role is, just the management side of things, I'm just overseeing the game design aspect of it, wherein I'm involved in the decision making of what the game needs to be there. And we've got a great team of people over here. Although we are extremely short-handed, we are just a team of 30 people at the moment. But we just closed our first round of funding. So that actually enables us to go for hiring new resources. And we are in talks with a couple of people to hire as Unreal Engine developers. And yeah, that's the way to go for us right now.
Congrats for
Congratulations.
that.
Thank you.
I mean, that's the first for kind of an indie studio. Ishan, what do you think? Basically VC fund for an independent studio
game
is one of the first in the ecosystem, and that's super cool actually.
Thank you. Just to kind of correct you, it's not a Series A funding. We are on the seed level.
All right, that's encouraging news for us and for everybody in the ecosystem, to be honest.
Absolutely, yeah.
Apart from Mumbai Gullies, Nikhil, since you mentioned that you've been working on many projects, many games, do you want to actually talk about them? Show us something.
Sure, sure. So, apart from Mumbai Gullies, we realized that, this is a magnum opus, and this is a project that is a passion project, and it's also something that we are looking at to do well monetarily as well, primarily because we'll be working with a publisher. However, the scale of the project is such that we also need to sustain our costs. So while the funding round is definitely that something that gives us a buffer, but we also want to create strong revenue streams for ourselves. For that reason, what we are doing is also in parallel working on a couple of mobile games. So I'll just share a few with you guys. I'll share my screen. So apart from Mumbai Gullies, we are working on a couple of cricket games. One game is already out in the store. This is called as Cricket CEO 2021. It's a cricket game that's not a cricket game. So basically, the highlight of this game is that you get to make decisions, you get to have sponsors, and you can sell merchandises, etc., etc. And while you're playing the game, you can actually take a decision, whether or not how the player will play, boost their confidence, etc., etc. So this is one project. Apart from this, we are working on one fighting game that is called Ultimate Quest. It is a brawler kind of game wherein you will be placed in different levels, and you will be wearing multiple masks. The tagline of this game is one man, many masks, the ultimate quest. So that's another game that we're working on. And apart from this, there are a couple of mobile game projects that are currently in pipeline. But these two are the ones that are the most exciting for us. And this is what is going on in our studio at the moment.
And great. And all these games from pre-production stage to the final publishing stage, all that is done in your studio.
So a couple of the production is done in our studio, and then we are also working with a few partners. So we are working with One-Eyed Octopus for our game design aspect. We are working with Vayu Digital Studio for some of the artistic works. We are working collaboratively with other studios as well. Some of it is done in-house and some of it is outsourced.
And that's the same for Mumbai Gullies.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Great. Speaking of cricket, I have Kabir here, and Kabir has made this thing which is like a dream of many Indians. Having a VR experience, going into the stadium and hitting sixes one after another, and that is just a glimpse of what Kabir has done in his studio. And I would love to have Kabir talk more about it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
So I think we should actually show our viewers what it is really about before we can talk about it. What do you think? Yeah. Kabir, take it away, man. Share your screen. Show us what's up.
So this is a trailer that is in work in progress still, but very close to what I finally want to do.
It's the last ball of the game. 6 runs required. A lot of pressure on this young man's shoulders.
I think that's you commentating.
Correct.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Last ball of the game. Oh! He smacked that for 6! He's hit it out the
Nobody's harder than me, I'm a breaker of chains, I'm living it free. Trust what I said and not what you see. Nobody keep it in order like me. I'm really a beast and I'm out in the wild. The will in my eye and I want it right now. That's a vow when I gotta get it, the victory's mine. You trying to compete, it's wasted time. Came from the bottom, but now I'm in front of the line. In front of the haters, I turn into motivators.
Super cool, man.
Amazing.
And like Ishan said, I mean, it's a religion here. I mean, cricket is a religion in the country here in India. Cool, Kabir. Why don't you, tell our audiences about you? I mean,
Sure. So, hi guys, my name is Kabir Punde. I run a virtual reality studio based out of Gurgaon, close to New Delhi. I actually don't come from this, traditional game development background or a VFX background for that matter. I come from a completely different background. I'm an architect and a landscape architect by degree. That's what I studied in college. I come from a family of architects. And I started my journey using, real-time technology and game engines to, basically interface with my clients and use virtual reality as a medium to share my design and my ideas with my clients. That's how I kind of got into virtual reality, and over the years picked up more skills and kind of diversified my portfolio to doing more things than just architecture. So I specialize in doing interactive experiences. Been leveraging my skills as a real-time technology expert in virtual production stuff as well. And one of my pet projects is this VR cricket game, which I'm super passionate about. I've been developing it for about 2.5 years now. A lot of it has, a lot has gone into it. Not only the software development, but we've also been developing some hardware on our end, which is more specifically related to a haptic bat. So a bat that you can mount a virtual reality controller on and connect with your game, and get a little bit more of an immersive experience where you can get haptic feedback according to the shots that you hit. So I'll be sharing some images and screenshots of development of that as well, to give you guys a little bit of insight. And in addition to just the VR cricket game, we also have a few other projects, mostly VR based. We've created a Holi game. So the festival of Holi, you can kind of play that in virtual reality. We can talk about that a little bit more as well as we move forward. Sure.
So Kabir, do you have a gameplay where actually people can understand? Of course, everybody's played in cricket in this country and elsewhere, but just to actually understand how it works, how it looks like, can you actually just show us what's up there?
Yeah, sure. So I'll go ahead and share a gameplay video with you guys, so you guys get a little bit more context as to what the game looks like, feels like, and also what all are the extended features of the game. Not just the fact that you can play virtual reality in cricket. It's got a few more added SKUs to it as well. So I'll go ahead and share my screen now so you can see that.
Sure thing.
All right. So I'll just talk a little bit over the video as well. As you can see, a lot of the gameplay obviously isn't in virtual reality, so you feel like you're immersed in a stadium. You kind of get to, feel what the professional players feel when they're playing, in terms of crowds cheering for you and stuff like that. But some of it can also be limiting in the fact that only the person in virtual reality gets to experience it. So as an added feature in our game, we also have this broadcast style camera that kind of, it takes the image of the player playing and deploys it in a broadcast style view. So the people who are not playing can also be, participants in this experience by seeing their friend or child or whoever it is playing in, almost like he's playing on TV, and get a sense of immersion that way as well. So it's an inclusive experience even for the spectators. Another important thing that I can talk about is obviously we've gone through multiple iterations of the bat, and one of my primary motives behind creating this bat and getting to this form factor and also designing the gameplay experience was based on making it accessible. It's important to me that everyone can play my game. It's not just cricket lovers, but people who might not be acquainted with cricket. It could be people who've never had the opportunity to play cricket as well. So I have my grandmom who plays this game. I have my little niece who likes to play this game. And another primary motivation for me was to develop an experience that can be accessible even for people who are handicapped. I had a colleague working in my office who spent his entire life in his wheelchair and never had an opportunity to play cricket with his friends in the ground. Always kind of saw them playing from the sidelines. And a lot of my motivation came from being able to create an experience that someone like him can also, be a part of and, get a little bit back from that.
Well, that's a great thought. The accessibility part is the real deal in this game. I would also like to know, Kabir, what was the process of the production when you were building it? Like, how were the assets being built? Was it motion captured? Because again, cricket, the way people bat, the way people ball is a huge part of the game itself. So can you just give us a peek into that?
Yeah, definitely. So, on the outset, I would say that I'm mostly a solo developer. I run a very small team where I'm mostly doing all the game development side of things, and I have a 3D artist who's been there with me since my ArcViz days. So we're a fairly small team. So essentially everything has been done in-house. We've been doing hand modeling. I tried my hand at animating a little bit as well. However, it came, at some point I can't do everything, so I look to outsource some of my requirements. So some of the animations, as you mentioned, some of them are using mocap. However, I also use a lot of tools to kind of leverage what I get out of mocap to get more procedural animation. So even though I get one catching animation, I can drive that animation with gameplay logic to get 6-7 other different similar looking catch animations, and that gives a little bit a level of more authenticity and randomness that makes it feel a little bit more real.
True. And I think the biggest aspect of this game would be when it comes would be the haptic bat, because that could be the game changer. Can you just, if you have the bat with you, or if you have some behind the scenes a peek into it, if you can showcase that would be great.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. So what I'll do is I'll be sharing some images of the bat. And it's got a little bit more information as to how the controllers can be mounted, what type of controllers can be used. Another important thing about the game is that it's platform agnostic. So even the haptic bat would be modular in the sense that you can pick up most consumer VR headsets and attach a controller to it. And that way I can increase the reach of people who might be able to use the bat as well as play the game.
Mhm.
And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and then okay, so I'm just going to quickly share an image. Let's see if it pops up here. But I'll send you the images of kind of what the bat looks like and what kind of stuff we can attach to it. And I also have some, let's see. So we got our PCBs printed from China and then hand soldered all of it. So it's a lot of DIY stuff, but it was a big learning curve for me as well, getting into hardware development. And learning a little bit more about what it takes to create a cohesive product that integrates well into your software. It's been a great experience, and I'm looking to now push it out further and make it more mass market. And hopefully in the coming months we'll be looking to deploy this as well.
Got it. Do you have the bat around?
Yeah.
So let's
What's
see.
up? Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the bat. We've got a Oculus controller mounted on top. Inside we have some haptics that you can see. I've got the cover off right now. We have our own custom printed PCB in there that kind of has a Bluetooth connection that connects to my computer, that connects to the game and sends out data that way, and takes the data from the game. If I hit the inside edge of the bat, the inside edge of my haptic bat vibrates, and vice versa.
Nice.
Outside edge. And that creates a little bit more of an immersive experience for the players who are playing the game.
This could also be very important for training sessions for the players, right?
Yeah, definitely. There are multiple applications that we can look at as the technology evolves to maybe get a more simulation experience. As of now, the game is mostly based around an arcade experience, making it accessible. Like I said, even kids should be able to play it, and even hardcore cricket fans are able to play it. But when we talk about things like training, we have to get into a little bit more about the technical aspects of cricket as well, and that's a little bit of a departure from gamifying the entire experience. But for sure, that's ahead in the roadmap as we move forward.
Yeah, for that you might need a haptic pad so that people can find LBWs and all. It could get a bit more technical, but it would be interesting.
Sure thing. And of course, this kind of a tool can also be used to kind of really scale into other sports like hockey. Yeah, I mean the same thing. The haptic feedback and the bat that they've created can be used as a hockey, can be a baseball game as well. Could be anything handheld, right? I mean, we have to kind of just aim and shoot, or probably tackle the ball with that tool. So yeah, I mean, we looking forward to how it evolved, man. Apart from that, Kabir, this is your primary kind of a thing right now. But like you said, you've been working on a couple of other things. Would you like to show our audiences what all do you have in your kitty?
Sure. So I'll go ahead and share another game that we've been working on in the past. I briefly mentioned it in the beginning about the Holy game, and I'll just quickly showcase that one as well. All right, so this is a a Holi game that, I mean, you can play Holi in virtual reality. It's a completely multiplayer experience. So the idea is you can wear a VR headset and play Holi with your friends all over the world. Especially pertinent in this pandemic times when meeting people is a little bit tricky, and also a festival like Holi, we're getting close and intimate with other people. You kind of lose that experience, and I wanted to kind of recreate that by creating a virtual reality experience. Now this game in itself was created for a game jam project, so it was done in a very short time period and with a very small team. So I had the 4 other developers working with me, mostly from the US and one from Australia. It was a really fun experience, and we're looking to deploy this closer to Holy time in March next year.
Oh, you must. It's so much. It's a necessity that people play this game by the time.
And what is
Beautiful.
Holi?
Oh, right. For anyone who might not know, Holi is that is meant to celebrate the onset of spring, and we celebrate it by, it's a festival of colors, so we kind of celebrate it by throwing colors on each other, and in different forms, and it could be a water gun, or it could be a water balloon, or it could be with your own hands, and all those kind of interactions are built into the game, where you can kind of interact with all these people in these different ways and kind of create these connections with them by the medium of color.
Gotcha.
Beautiful.
All right. So yeah, guys, this is again a question to both of you. All right. So you guys you guys are in the industry. I mean, the gaming industry in India, and of course we've seen many changes in the past 5 years. Of course, right? In the same call, like Nikhil, I mean, a game studio, an independent game studio, actually raising funds, or Kabir, a single man guy. I mean, you single developer, one guy actually creating that heavy hitting game, right? So we've actually come really far, to be honest. And what do you think? What are your comments on that? And where do you think our gaming ecosystem is actually headed?
So my thoughts are that earlier this particular industry was not that popular, and we have made leaps and we have made progress by leaps and bounds. So studios like ourselves and even individuals like Kabir have now started taking risks and taking steps in the right directions to make sure that we churn out games that match international standards. I firmly believe that over the next 5 to 10 years there will be a huge shift in the narrative that India will also be, hopefully it is number one in the gaming industry, because there is no shortage of talent over here. Big companies, international companies, they actually outsource majority of their work to India. It was just a matter of time wherein India would start, recognizing the talent that they have in-house, and then take steps in the direction that, would help India create experiences out of our own culture for the world. There are so many rich stories over here to be told. There are Western games that focus on their own culture and make it, renowned worldwide. So it's just a matter of time wherein India starts taking steps, and this has already started to happen. So yeah, looking forward to a positive future with India.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. So, for me, actually, I find the hardware side of things quite interesting, because I've been a gamer all my life, most primarily a competitive gamer. And, I've been through all the way from using the first Nintendo 64 to playing on PC games back in the 90s, and using all the generations of the Xbox and PlayStation consoles. I find India as a very special use case. It kind of skipped a couple of generations of gaming in general. It did. PC gaming was never very popular in India. Obviously, there were lots of people who had access to PCs, but the majority of the population never actually had a chance to use PCs, and the purchasing power in the country might not have been there when consoles were very popular. And the advent of smartphones, mobile phones that are fairly powerful, have kind of leveled the playing field for the consumers. And as a result of it, we've seen this huge boom in India with mobile gaming specifically. So I find that very interesting to see where the next step would be. And virtual reality, is kind of a no-brainer in terms of, where the gaming experience can go next, which is why I've chosen that as my platform of choice. and it also lends itself, especially games like cricket lend themselves really well to this VR experience, and that's what we're looking to leverage as well. So the future is looking super bright. Like Nikhil mentioned, there are many companies abroad that outsource their work here, so there's no shortage of talent. We're just looking to make strides now and move ahead and create our own IPs and show the world what we are capable of as well.
Yeah.
Right.
IP is the key there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and before we move to the Q&A, I just have a very interesting question for Nikhil. That I know that you are going into the motion capture stage next, and you might be working on the music and sound design next. And you mentioned a couple of times that a game should be Bollywoodized a little bit.
Yeah.
Will you be having the dances and songs in your game?
You'll have to buy the game to see that.
Come on, give us a
We
peek in
will,
there.
of course.
I mean, we are thinking of some things in that direction because Bollywood and dance, the movies that are produced over here are mostly musicals. So definitely we have thought of certain aspects to mention dance and all these other art forms. And as you mentioned, what makes our game different from the Western world is these are the observations that even we as a development team have, that hey, this is not showcased in that game. So most definitely there will be all these crazy things that you thought of.
Amazing.
All right.
Great. Let's move to the Q&A then.